Yeah, I mean, they took this week. They kind of take the interesting, sort of like a Back to the Future thing, where they replay the same events from like separate point of views, and then they go back and reshuffle them. Even it's kind of it was an interesting couple episodes. Was really a big fan.
Agreed. Yeah, really well done. One of the better time travel arcs I think I've seen in anything. You know, not just like cartoons, but like anything. Really good.
Um, okay, let's go through it. And when we come to certain points, I might have a couple of darts to throw in the idea that this makes sense because I've like been thinking about this one for a couple of days. This doesn't make any fucking sense, but it's pretty cool. And you're right.
So
Structurally,
sorry,
it's
you're
cool.
saying that that a virus couldn't be edited in a lab and then released? Is that what you're trying to say, Jim?
I'm trying to say Apocalypse made COVID, y'all.
Oh no.
Holy shit! I think he's also saying that the idea of a time storm doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I think this is the first time I've seen a time storm displayed, and it reminds me a lot of time storms in Beast Wars, and I feel like the time storms in Beast Wars are directly influenced by the time storm here.
I was literally just about to tell you that you had seen a time storm previously, although this predates it, I guess. It definitely predates it. But yeah, there was that time storm at the end of season 2 and start of season 3 of Beast Wars.
This was one of my favorite episodes of this series up until like about yesterday when I watched this for a second time this week, and I realized none of it makes any sense.
Welcome to episode 9 of the TV show presents X-Men 92, the animated series. Each week we're watching a couple episodes. If you're listening to this, you've probably already listened to a few of them already. We're going to talk about the plot, trivia, anything that comes to mind. This week we're talking about Time Fugitives Part 1 and 2. If you want to watch along, you obviously can watch on Disney or wherever else you want to find that. My name is Mike McDermott, and I'm joined, as always, by Jim Vanderhorst and Benjamin Caldwell.
Hey, I'm Jim Vanderhorst. How's everybody doing?
This is Ben, I'm good.
It's doing great over here.
Tight, tight, tight. Okay. So, before we talk about the time travel in X-Men Season 2, we got to get into our own time machine and talk about when these episodes came out. They came out December 11th and 18th, 1993. The number one song across both weekends was Janet Jackson's Again, a song that I can't place. Do you guys know this one? Anybody remember Again by Janet Jackson?
Come again? No.
I'm not super familiar with the oeuvre of Janet Jackson, I have to admit.
The first weekend, December 11th, the number one movie in America was Wayne's World 2 in its first weekend.
Already on.
Yeah. Um, on its way to making $48 million. So a modest hit. You know, they never made more sequels, but I feel like if they made a Wayne's World 3, it probably would have been a big hit. I had this idea back in like 2010 or so that like they could be a YouTube revival and Wayne and Garth could have like gone in separate directions with their lives and then their videos become popular when YouTube becomes a big thing and it would bring them back together in middle age and they would
I love that.
rediscover the joy of doing a show together.
That's honestly a great idea. Like that's one of the best taking an old thing and modernizing it pitches I've ever heard, I think.
And then how about this? They pivot to a podcast at the end, and then it just becomes a podcast with the two of them playing their characters every week.
Wow, that would be so hard to convince Mike Myers to do.
A
Apparently
spin-off.
he just plays characters in real life now. He just that's what he does for fun. He just in character and interacting with people.
I love that for him.
Hmm.
So he was in costume and like in full disguise. I thought you meant
Yeah.
like he would just do bits, but he like gets dressed up professionally and
Ah,
goes out to do.
in costume with makeup, hair, wigs.
So what
Yeah.
was the character?
I don't know. He didn't tell me anything about that. He just told me that he was like completely fooled by this person that turned out to be Mike Myers.
He was there as the love guru.
Well, I mean, I understand why nobody would recognize that.
Exactly.
I've still never seen that movie.
Me
Did either of you
neither.
guys
Uh,
ever watch that?
No,
if I
no.
recall, I think it was rated PG or maybe G, and I think I put it on at the video store once or twice, and I got through about maybe 5 minutes. I was like, nope, just nope, can't do it. Just can't do it.
Just the worst idea imaginable. And he just suckered so many good people in to waste their time on it.
And it turns into a hockey movie, doesn't it? As well.
Mm-hmm. Mm,
So
fully.
weird.
Justin Timberlake and Romany Malco as hockey players, casting decisions that nobody
So
who
weird.
actually plays hockey would approve of.
I think he's Timberlake's supposed to be like a well-hung French Canadian in that one.
Um, I don't care. Anyway, back to Ways World 2 beat Sister Act 2. It made almost twice as much. They both debuted on that weekend. Mrs. Doubtfire was in his third weekend, still going strong. Jamaico and American Geronimo, Jamaico, Jamiroquai, an American legend, flopped with 4 million. The next weekend, we had a huge hit. The number one movie was The Pelican Brief, an enormous, big box office success, $100 million in 1993. And I don't think anybody watches or talks about this movie anymore, or John Grisham movies in general.
Yeah,
I
this is
have
we're
never heard of this.
like there's no more movies for grown-ups anymore, really. This is
Yeah,
a
like
old thing.
it's a shame. It's a good movie. It's not like a great movie that reinvents the wheel or anything. It's just like a well-told story, well acted. A bit disappointing that Denzel Washington himself refused to kiss Julia Roberts on screen. He was like a force that refused to do interracial stuff in his movies. He was more conservative and didn't want to do that. And I always felt that was kind of disappointing
Really?
that Denzel would push against that constantly, but he always did. He refused to kiss white women on film.
Wow.
Hmm.
I did not know that. That what
Yeah.
why?
I had
Like
no
isn't
idea.
that I thought that was kind of like
I
the
thought
thing that
everybody
they
liked that
liked.
kind of stuff in films, but it turns
Yeah.
out no. Like Gen Zs don't, conservatives don't.
Well,
Um,
Gen Zs are afraid of sex though.
I don't know. Like I know that Gen Zs like have such instant access to porn. Like the idea of just like boom, you can look up porn has been around their entire life. For us, porn was this harder to access thing than, trying to get to know a woman when you were like 15 or whatever, you know?
Yeah. It was a different time, man, before the internet.
Yeah, and I feel like it must really scar and fuck up these kids.
Yeah.
That accessibility is there, that like before you even like I'm sure that all these kids are growing up having seen all kinds of sex stuff before their junk even works, before they're producing cum. Do you guys remember this
Yeah.
story about my buddy who like did jerked off for like a year before he ever jizzed? I've told that
Oh
story, right?
God.
That is a long time.
That is
Yeah.
Must have
crazy. What
changed.
the
He
hell?
was jerking off for a long time, but he just like
Did he
wasn't
know when to
producing cum.
stop?
What? No, he'd
Did he?
orgasm. He apparently could
Okay.
orgasm, but he just wasn't jizzing yet. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I did that. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
And then
wow.
the
That's
first
wild.
time that he jizzed, he didn't know what the fuck was happening because he didn't think that was supposed to happen because he was used to the clean method, right? Um, so he's got this wad in his hand and he runs up to his mom and he says, "Oh, mom, I'm bleeding."
Oh
Only white blood.
no.
Only white blood cells. What's wrong, mummy? Do you need to examine it?
The platelets are out of control.
It's truly upsetting.
Speaking of that shit, actually, I remember this crazy show. Shout out to Lido Pimentia,
Oh
the
yeah,
show
she's awesome.
Lido TV on CBC Gem for anyone in Canada or who has like a VPN, I guess. I don't know. Maybe you don't need to be Canadian to watch it, but CBC Gem, Lido TV, there's a fucking crazy segment where there's like a group of like Amish people, I guess, and there's like a teenage boy watching his like sister or cousin or something who's a girl doing like the butter churning outside, and he's like in the kitchen watching through the window, jacking off, and his like mom walks in on him and like falls to her knees from across the room and is like, "No, what are you doing?" And then he like is surprised, turns around, and fucking gives her a facial, and they show that on TV. It was amazing. And then
What?
the fucking dad comes in and he's
Oh
like,
no.
"Oh, son. Oh no." And then he just like wipes it up with the cloth handkerchief and then goes out into the backyard and like buries it. And there's like a bunch of little like graves out there for these things. So like it was like the fucking most shocking
Oh
and
my
funny thing
God.
I've seen
Oh
on
my
TV
God.
probably in the last fucking my whole life, I guess. It was
Wow.
amazing. Like I've seen hardcore pornography by all means, but to see that in that context on that like comedy show
And
that's
to have the
like,
punchline,
oh, and the punchline on top of it, man, like well played. Well played.
mind-boggling. That's incredible.
Holy shit.
Um, yeah, I mean, shout out Lido. I know her because she used to collaborate with a tribe called Red, who've continued making music, minus the problematic members as a hallucination. I remember like the first time I heard of her was when she was like calling out the members of the big group that were shitty and they were removed. And like it was a good like moment. It was like one of the
Nice.
big success stories of the Me Too movement was that the shitty element of a tribe called Red was removed from the music scene. And all of that still going strong with the hallucination, which is like really important music. If you're not familiar with the hallucination, just like type in hallucination into YouTube and just put a space between the I and the N, and you will understand.
Clever.
Hmm. Yeah, one of the most incredible experiences of my entire life is when I walked into Fractal Forest, which is this stage that normally had very green lasers, and was like this very circular stage around the DJ booth. So there's
At
like
Shambhala?
throng of people at Shambhala, yeah. And for the first time ever, I saw red lasers firing in there. This is like 2015. So you have to forgive me that that seemed to be mind-boggling at the time. It was new that lasers could be have multicolors. And I walked in, and this army of like 1,500 to 2,000, mostly white people, were all just like marching in lockstep, dancing the same together, all watching their dancers and doing the exact same thing as their dancers. And that never happens. Everyone just
Wow.
synced up and felt something
Impressive.
powerful. And I think that that was like, it was one of my favorite moments I ever had
That's
in the
usually
music
reserved
world.
for like black people, from what I've seen. Like every once in a while, you'll see on TV or whatever, like just some black person do a little dance move, and then their friend just like sees them doing it, and it's like they have a fucking mind meld, and they just like two or three or four people just do the same damn moves and anticipate each other. And I don't think they practice it ahead of time. I think they're literally just like
It's just
better
knowing
people
that,
that are
it's
just
knowing all of
amazing at
that as
moving.
well, knowing your
Yeah.
moves, knowing that like where you can go from those moves, where the other person is most likely to go with their moves. Like it's really a limited amount of options. It's just kind of once you get it down, it's just kind of muscle memory that you can do this. It's like riding a bike or driving a car is for us. We're just so disconnected from the idea that we can be part of something that beautiful.
Two things that I'm not very good at, but I'm actually not a bad dancer. So
I bet,
interesting.
man. You got swag. Anyway,
I'm
let's get
lanky.
back to the X-Men.
In
All right.
3999 AD, Cable and some rebels are locked in battle with Apocalypse's forces. As Apocalypse watches from above, a temporal storm appears. Inside it, it's Bishop.
Motherfucking Bishop. So Cable like immediately realizes that something has gone wrong. There's like tornadoes of time storm stuff appearing all around him. And he talks to his little cube computer, which I kind of forgot about, but I guess that's kind of a big part of his deal. I guess he has this little computer he talks to, and
Yeah, it's called
it
Graymalkin, which is the name of the street that Xavier's mansion is on.
I did not know that.
The more
Do
you
they
Is
know.
explain
it
that
built
here? Did I?
in? Is it built into a cybernetic arm?
Yeah, in the same way that like ChatGPT is built into your phone.
A GPT is built into my phone?
Yeah, I mean you can if you have the app, then it's just there. A Graymalkin's more like an app, like an AI, an intelligence,
Uh
than his arm. to
So
clarify.
So his arm is AI? Damn, that's
I always
crazy.
kind of thought, based on Cable's whole deal, was that his arm was actually like that because he had a virus. Like that's did he lose his arm because of a virus? And that's a replacement
No,
arm.
he's got like he's connected to an AI thing, but I think he's basically just kind of like wearing it through an implant, right? Like through the Elon Musk whatever cybernetic implant.
Mm,
The arm is a virus. It's a techno-organic virus that we will eventually see how he gets. So I don't want to give that away too much. But yeah, his
I
arm is actually not a robot machine arm. It's like an organic silicon organic arm.
I'm assuming separate from the virus that will be the plot of the next two episodes, or maybe not.
Totally. Yeah, no, it's a different virus, although viruses will
Uh,
always be drawn in the same way with these just kind of like weird green dots and lines on everyone's face. So this virus, it looks like the Legacy virus from the comic books, and it also will look a little bit like the Phalanx. They're just a little bit vague with it, and I think they just didn't want it to look like any virus that anybody could pin down, you know?
that makes sense. Yep,
It kind of looked techno too. Like it was like, oh yeah, that looks kind of like it was
It
made in
looked,
a
yeah, yeah.
laboratory.
The revelation that it was made in a lab was not shocking.
oh god, no. It definitely looked like a computer was coming out of their skin or something.
Hey kid, I'm a computer.
Yeah.
Stop all the
downloading.
help, computer.
Oh my god. So Gray Malkin, I guess, explains that there's something going on in the past. There's somehow his computer knows that something in the past has changed. I don't really it seemed really beyond the breadth of what a computer could know, but it seems to know that the past has changed and something is going to change and erase his whole future that he's a part of.
So this is the
Which
first confusing thing because like the time stream that the time storm that he's battling is caused by Bishop's time travel, but like Bishop comes to the past and leaves after the last time we see Cable. So is it like are we supposed to presume that after the last adventure that we had, that Cable stuck around in the 20th century for a while before this moment? And then it's
Well,
like he has
yeah, that's a good
in
question.
my head canon, he has to be experiencing this time storm like as soon as he gets back to 3999.
so Cable, remember he was like the head of security for that weird company in the first season, and I was asking you guys
Yeah.
like, was he a time traveler at this point? You were like, I don't know, we haven't really like established the character yet, kind of.
Yeah. This
So is
this is
that
when they knew.
the same Cable for sure, or is
Same
this
guy.
like
Yeah. They
so
just
he
didn't
so okay, so was he part of this era, or was he originally part of the future and somehow ended up here working for that company?
yes.
I see.
They didn't know he was a time traveler when they added him to season one, right?
Yeah, like they didn't know what they were doing because the comics hadn't revealed that. I think the comics revelation happened right around the time that the first episode that he showed up in was the revelation of like who he was because by the second ish by Time Fugitives they fully know who Cable is. Like Jean Grey learns who Cable is by when she reads his mind in this, and that is
Yeah,
like that. I don't think they're fucking around with that. They knew what they were doing, and then they just let
they
that
did for
plot
sure
line go
here.
for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
I
this
bet
they
they wish
didn't.
they could I bet they wish they could like take back his appearing in season one. If they could change anything, like maybe they would change that. I don't know.
Well, I think that they wanted to have him. He's already established, so that's good. I think it's just that like he'd been back in our time for a while working with that company to try and figure out what was going on, maybe to try and investigate it because maybe the details on the history aren't that good. Maybe he was doing
People get
recap.
amnesia a lot too sometimes.
But like,
That
when
just
did he?
happens.
How did he disappear? How did he exit the story with Apocalypse? Because he didn't stick around for the final battle with Apocalypse and come the Apocalypse, right? He's in the Cure and he's on Slave Island, right?
I believe so, yeah. And my other question about this was like he it didn't look like a future worth saving to me. I was like, maybe he should like wait to see how it plays out. Like maybe it's going to be good. Like I get that he just didn't want to be erased from existence. No one would, but I mean, he looked like he was living a
I
pretty
think it's about
shitty
his son.
existence.
It's about his son.
He
Oh,
also
yeah.
has the ability to grab somebody and say, "Computer, bring two people to this location." So
Yeah, it's a little flimsy. Um, like I said, I had a hard time fully accepting the time travel and mechanics in this as working, and that's a big part of it. Like, doesn't quite all add up unless he didn't go back, which kind of implies that he just kind of hid in the shadows and fucked off and maybe watched on TV while the X-Men fought Apocalypse alone without him.
he tuned in on cable, perhaps.
Like, am I forgetting that episode? Like, I don't recall Cable actually being involved in the episode where they fight Apocalypse. I think he's
No, I don't really remember that either.
I don't know.
so like he solves the cure thing and he just maybe he's got to recuperate from that, and maybe that's the best reasoning. And then at some
The
point
other,
he goes back, boom, discovers this, yada yada, and it's all a framing device. And from here on, we're just in a Bishop and X-Men sequel to Days of Future Past for the rest of it, like a self-contained single episode sequel to Days of Future Past,
Which
yeah,
was
essentially.
I mean,
awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool story, I think.
I
Also,
think,
like, I feel like, sorry to cut you off, Mike. I feel like the animation on this episode was like a step above previously because they had like 2 and 3 layer, like 3D effects going on. And I feel like they were integrating computer animation and like when they had the cube and it was showing like pictures of what was going on. Like, I think the cube was computer animated and then it was like
mhm.
composited with like the hand-drawn animation, maybe.
I agree.
I
Like,
think
I
you're
thought the
right.
animation looked great right off the bat. I think they were going for like a way like super inky, contrasty, comic-y look, and yeah, I thought there was a lot of interesting parallax effects and things like that going on.
Terminators were cool too.
Yeah, it's a super cool looking episode. It kind of shows like Terminator 2 teases a lot of really awesome future stuff. And me as a kid who had just seen that around this time that this episode aired, I wanted more of that, and it was giving us more of that. It's more Terminator 2 world. Everything's
And
got
Wolverine even references Terminator. He's like, "Oh, this Terminator over here, blah blah blah," and one, and maybe in the recap of an episode, but yeah.
next episode revolves around Cable really wanted to save his son Tyler. Well, it turns out that Cable's son Tyler is actually Apocalypse's son, and he goes crazy and kills most of Cable's friends in the future, which is why he just decides to eventually come back and live in the past. Yep.
What?
Damn, son, what?
Yeah. Yep.
Like,
Sometimes
so
comics be
okay.
comicking.
Yeah, the
Does
comics would just violently kill any characters that audiences hadn't connected with within a year or two to
so
get
you say Tyler is Apocalypse's son? Are we talking like weird genetic manipulation, or did Apocalypse like lay pipe on his mom?
I don't know. My theory is that it's like in Batman Beyond, where he like genetically turns this guy's jizz into his own jizz.
I think I like the version where I picture him like acting like Greek gods who would turn into like a goose and fuck a woman. I think that's more Apocalypse's
Classic.
style.
You want Apocalypse to turn into a goose to fuck Gable's baby mama.
I don't
Um,
not want it.
I mean,
neat.
Interesting. It's very interesting.
I would like to see it.
Cool.
Anyway, so where we left off, that Cable is just kind of figuring out that the past has been screwed up somehow. He actually manages to like watch a version of the events on his little computer, and he decides that he has to intervene. And then we go back in time again to 2055, where Forge is telling Bishop that nothing he did, nothing changed as far as he knows. He can't tell that anything happened because he was there all time changed around Forge as far as we know. So he still thinks everything's the same. It didn't work. Although this time they're dealing with a plague that didn't exist before. And he's also never even heard of the X-Men, which, there's a lot going on there. And Bishop just immediately decides he has to head back to the past again. He has to go back to the 90s.
Yeah, it's kind of comical. He just like arrives, figures out shit is different again, so he's like, "Fuck it, send me back in time again, boss."
Do you guys think Forge smokes weed? He looks like it with that
Oh,
like headband
absolutely.
and
I'm
shit,
pretty
the
sure that
like
we later
ponytail.
will see Ford smoke weed, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that happens in season in 97.
Maybe that explains the memory loss. He's like, "What? There was a plague, man? What?"
We go to the 1990s. We know that we're in the 1990s because Jubilee is in a mall. Um,
Your
Malls
Discman
don't exist
fixed.
anymore. People don't even realize when they're in a mall nowadays because they've been made ergonomic.
Is this a mall, Dad?
Are we in a mall? Oh, check out the Chair Company if you haven't. That show is brilliant. Jubilee is trying to get her player fixed because she keeps fucking it up because of her powers. So I guess she gets like really excited and just dancing and just like fucks up her Indigo Girl CDs or whatever. It's pretty funny mental image that they put in our heads. Um, but wouldn't you know it, the Friends of Humanity are skulking around because they're up to no good and they're fucking everywhere, just like MAGA. Like they're just like MAGA. It's fucking
They're
crazy.
so much like Mega.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Just like
Yeah, they cause a mob to turn on her. Storm intervenes, rescues Jubilee, and they head back to the mansion. And then they see on the news that mutants are being quarantined amid panic over the spreading plague.
it's a cool callback to the FOH. I thought like because they're around and they don't go away, just like certain
Yeah, like
people.
they're constantly annoying and they're in the way all the time, which is good. They're a thing that I really hated as a child, and now as an adult, I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is good writing. It's good that these guys are just
Yeah.
fucking losers.
Yeah, it
I
felt
like,
like
yeah.
the zeitgeist at this time was left wing. People are caring about environmentalism and
Yeah,
mutant
Clinton
rights.
had
You
been
can replace
elected.
that with women's rights or gay rights or
Oh yeah,
whatever
this was a
rights you want.
big gay acceptance era. Philadelphia came out, and I think around the same time as this, maybe around the same month as this. And
Hanks, Oscar,
really, yeah, Tom Hanks. I think Tom Hanks did he win an Oscar for that? Yeah, he
pretty
got two
sure.
back-to-back Oscars for Philadelphia and Forrest Gump. I think that's what it is.
The two most deserved Oscars of all time.
Unfortunately, people don't really watch Philadelphia anymore, and unfortunately, people watch Forrest Gump a lot.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know if you're gonna get AIDS.
I think we left it off where
Did not
they
expect that.
see it
Thank you.
they see on the news that the mutants are being quarantined. We already did that, and then Storm recognizes that the FOA operative from the mall is at that scene. He's inciting more bullshit. So the X-Men head out to investigate, but Bishop arrives, and he's kind of like bending them off. He's absorbing the
He
blast.
uses his powers, which is cool because I don't
He
really
does,
recall him
yeah.
doing shit with his powers before. So it's nice to we see him doing the absorbing and redirecting of powers.
I forgot he was a mutant.
Yeah, right. Like
Uh,
he might not even be a mutant in that first one, other than the M on his face. There's not really much of an
yeah, I was gonna
indication that
say
he is.
he
M
does
for
have that.
mutant.
Yeah,
He's been marked as a mutant. I always assumed that was like a marking in the future. I didn't really
yeah.
like
I
like
instantly equated that to be kind of like the gold star,
right.
or the barcode tattoo.
Or the
Yeah.
Scarlet Letter.
Yeah, Hester Prynne.
But
10.
so
Bitch.
Bishop's version of controlling the mob kind of gets out of control. So
Yeah, he fucks it up.
Storm and Rogue show up to kind of cool things off a little
Meow.
bit. They bring him to safety, and Bishop explains that he's there to stop a plague that devastates his future. He doesn't know not much about it, but he's just there to stop it one way or another. And they want to help him, but before that, the Beast is going to go before the Senate, where unfortunately this FOH fuckhead Graydon Creed tries to attack him, and he, he accidentally infects himself by mistake.
Perfect
Very,
name.
yeah.
So keep in mind, this is like the second time that Wolverine comes across Graydon Creed. Keep that in mind for a future episode.
We all know who Graydon Creed is, right?
Graydon.
Well, yeah, I mean, if Ben doesn't know the
Only
stuff
we
that
do. I don't.
you and I know.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
fair enough.
Yeah, it's not. Let's let that go.
Fair enough. Yeah,
Have
he.
you figured out who Graydon Creed is, Ben?
It's not Apocalypse.
Okay. So yeah, let's just leave Ben in
Fair
suspense and
enough.
go into
Yeah. So
Ben.
he accidentally stabs himself with his own stabby thing, or he inhales something. I think it is actually. And they track Creed back to his base, where they discover that it's Apocalypse that has been manipulating all these events secretly behind the scenes, using the Friends of Humanity as like a, I don't know, just they're just like a happy coincidence. Like he can just very easily manipulate them to spread the virus for him. He's trying to scan all the people in the building to figure out what they're walking into. And she has like a brain attack because Apocalypse
A
is there. She
brain
doesn't know who
attack.
it is yet. She doesn't
Yeah.
know it's Apocalypse, but like she sees the face of the other guy there, and she instantly like crashes out. She's like, "Oh shit! Like this is something bad down there. We got to get in there quick."
It's cool that she's taking over for Xavier and trying to fill in for him and like not quite up for the job, but doing a good job, but just like running into limitations and experience issues and you know, Apocalypse, the most powerful thing to run into. Nobody would want to run into that. So I really like that she takes charge here. I think it's some good character stuff, and it's just nice when there's any characterization given to Jean.
She's very rarely been on missions too. Like this is only like the second or third time she's like out on a
Yeah.
mission, isn't it?
Yeah, like in season one, there was she led the group down to Genosha to save the people that were there, and that was one of her first times at
That's
that.
right. Yep.
She did a couple of other things, but not a lot of battle stuff. But here she's really taken over like the leadership role. I guess Cyclops is still kind of fucked up from the previous episode when he got destroyed by the Danger Room because he's not really part of this. Like he talks a bunch, but he's not really a big presence in it. And I think that's actually the writers recognizing that he got his ass kicked by the Danger Room, and he needs to not really be a big part of this story.
Yeah, it's surprising that she's not used more, I guess, because her telepathic abilities are kind of like easy for animation because you just have to like show her. You don't have to show animate her interacting with things. She can just like move things and an object moves. That's all you have to animate. That's easier for them than having like a Wolverine fight, I would think. So, but I
That
guess
or
that's
you like you show her like straightening her head and then
right.
just cut to some established animation that already happened.
Exactly. Yeah,
I
but
think it's just a big. I think it's just a big cast. Like there's three other female characters that she's sharing time with, and a lot of the time, a lot of her time is taken up being a prop for Cyclops or Wolverine on their character journeys. Right, so this is cool when she gets to do her own thing.
It's also cool that she wears a navy blue and nude spandex suit
Yeah, I'm a
because it's
big
just
fan of
so
it.
funny. It's like, are you half naked or is that like flesh tone spandex?
I
What's
have
going on
always
here?
hated that costume. I don't like that costume for her at all. I don't think I've never seen a good costume for Jean Grey. I mean, I think the Phoenix
Really?
is probably the best one. I don't like any of her other suits. I don't just the Phoenix look is good, but that's it.
I like this look when her hair is like out, not in the ponytail. Like unfortunately, most of the time when she looks like that, it's in the worst animation studio. But I like that look for her. The Phoenix outfit is pretty iconic for her too. I'm more
Don't
fan
like
of the original Phoenix more than the Dark Phoenix.
I just don't like the hood sleeve, like the condom thing, like the one she and Gambit both have on, like that have their ears sticking
The
out and
weird, yeah, the Jim Lee head outfit things
yeah, I
like
hate that.
that shit doesn't make any fucking sense.
If you
You're
took
right.
that off that costume, I would probably like it a million times more.
When her hair is out more instead of in the ponytail, it makes a little bit more sense. It looks better, but yeah, it is a little bit silly.
Uh, they attack, and during the fight, Bishop really fucks the whole place up. He sets everything on fire, destroys all the plague samples, and Apocalypse gets really pissed off, and he transforms into a giant Apocalypse kaiju and seemingly just kills everyone. It looks like. I think that's the implication there. Um, but obviously, that's not going to stand, and we see that back in 3999 his computer explains that although some mutants survived, the lack of antibodies allowed the plague to evolve into a deadly virus that wipes out thousands in the decades that follow. Antibodies will be very important in the episode that comes, I suppose. Um, and now Cable faces a grim choice. To save the future, he may have to help Apocalypse carry out his genocidal plan.
Just like Donald Trump.
So yeah, this is a pretty cool cliffhanger. Like we pretty grim imagery at the end, Apocalypse winning. Cool framing device. Doesn't make
And
sense.
like
Doesn't make
make
any fucking
note
sense,
of
but
this battle, right? Because like we're gonna see it again, but just slightly different. And like really well
yes.
done. I love how they had that subtle. It was almost like the retelling versus the actual story in the first season of True Detective.
Totally. There's a bit of a Rashomon element to it, and like the next
Oh
episode is
yes.
very much like Back to the Future Part 2, where we'll see many slightly different versions of scenes from this, and actually one or two mini scenes that are just little clips from this recycled, which probably saved a little bit of money. Maybe the reason why they had a little bit of extra budget for some of those flourishes you were mentioning.
Yeah, I was just thinking
Sometimes
that.
though, those limitations can make for excellent like artistry. Like when you're limited by
Oh, I'm a
something
big
and you have
believer
to
that
use it.
limitations grow artists for sure. Yeah, like I remember I when I first got into photography and decided to be an image artist, I used like an old family camera and I would just take one photograph with a film roll of every shot. And that really made me focus on composition and lighting. And I was only doing black and white. So I was really like really studying and really trying to make sure every shot was very, very good. And that forcing myself to really understand what I wanted out of photographs was so good and so key to my development as an artist. And I feel like kids today who can just take a million shots and it doesn't matter, they might not have that opportunity, that limitation to grow in that way.
Absolutely. Shoot on film and develop it yourself.
Yeah, at least at first, you know? But there's definitely like there's photographers in the field today that are taking two or three measured shots and making good stuff. And then there's some that take 50 shots. And it just so happens that one of those 50 shots that they took on the burst thing is good, but kind of because they just hoped for it.
It's like going into like a shooting competition and one guy has like a six shooter and the other guy's allowed to use a machine gun and they both have the same target and an amount of time to hit the center.
Totally. It's like of course the guy with the machine gun is gonna get the shot, but the person that is the
Exactly.
sniper is there's more craft to it.
I'm a sniper, baby.
Yeah, buddy. Um, so I give this one 7 homicidal AI computers out of 10.
I'm gonna give
Same.
this okay, you're
Minus
giving it
point
this.
one.
I give it a probably I actually really like this. I'm gonna give it eight. Oh fuck, I infected myself with my own viruses out of 10.
That's a pretty great scene when it happens. It happens. It's so good.
So whiny about it after too. He's like,
He's
"What are
such
you
a
gonna
bitch.
do? I'm so sick. You need to help me."
Yeah, Graydon Creed's the worst. He's like, I won't be able to recover in time to a campaign. It's great.
He literally said he won't be able to manipulate events because he'll be sick the whole time. He just wants to like be out there like fucking with the world. Such a piece
Yeah.
of shit. Time Fuses Part 2. So Cable races through the temporal storm, threatening to race his world. He realizes the only way to save the future. So we've already said all this. He's gonna assist Apocalypse in the past if he wants to save his future. So he rushes to his time machine just in time to see his son Tyler fade from existence. Grieving but determined to set things right, Cable time slides back to the 1990s.
Cable's time slide was actually a cool little effect.
I think both effects were very kind of cool. Like just they got really funky with it. I think, especially like Bishop's is kind of like way psychedelic. I think, and yeah, no, I like them both.
Yeah, I
The
like the like
twirling into
rings.
the
It almost
infinity.
reminded me of like Looney Tunes, like the like
Yes,
knockouts or like the like closing sequence.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering
So
like they established that this is like the year 4000 almost, and I know. I mean, they hint at who Cable is. Like, how did he get so far in the future? I'm wondering. Like, he's not even where he's supposed to be in the future, is he?
No, he's gonna get sent accidentally that far in the future. and that's in X-Men 97, so I'm not gonna tell you what the answer to that
Fair
weird
enough.
question. It's the
I
same as it is in
tiptoe
the
around it.
comics. Yeah.
Got it.
Uh-huh.
So Bishop is like a mutant, and Cable is not a mutant, but he's got so much technology
No, Cable's a
that he's.
mutant.
What is his
Cable's
mutant
tel
power?
Cable is telepathic and telekinetic, but his powers are being mostly taken up fighting the techno-organic infection in his body. It's constantly
Same.
trying to take him over, and he's constantly having to use them to fight it off, which is why he doesn't get much opportunity to use his powers, and he mostly uses a gun.
Same.
Yeah, I believe that. So Cable first shows up right where Bishop travels back in time. Boom, he's trying to intervene when during the clash with the anti-mutant mob. Um, he's forced to retreat after Rogue picks a fight with him because she recognizes him and fucking hates him because he was just getting in the way of all of her business with Dr. Adler and Mystique and such. Cable goes and hides out in a dilapidated motel, just like fucking Kyle Reese in Terminator. And he has Gray Malkin brief him on the X-Men's abilities. There's a really
He's
interesting
even
part.
sorry, he's even working on his arm like Arnie does in a hotel in Terminator 1, right? Like he does a little like
Yeah,
tool up on his arm and
yeah. This
another cool
episode
reference I
more
thought.
than this episode more than the other ones is really, really feeding off of the Terminator popularity and tropes and exciting ideas from it.
I feel like you said like just like when it was first installed. Is that what he said?
Yes, he did.
I thought it was a virus.
He said he
Well,
fixed it up and as good as the day it was installed.
yeah, I think that these writers didn't know that yet. Again, it was like not a thing that was well just clearly described, I think, until 1994, when there's a comic book called The Scanny Sun, which is about a couple characters being sent into the future to raise Cable as a young man in the future that he'd been sent to. Because they can't change the time, they can't change anything about him being stuck in the future, but they can go and actually raise him as a young man. So we learn all about that then.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we will eventually see that in X-Men 97 season 2. That is going to be a plot line in the next season that hasn't come out yet. But
So
all of
stick
the
with us.
yeah, we'll get there later this year in 2026. Cable, interestingly, when Cyclops comes up, he says, "Oh, I know about him," and he goes wants to go on to the next ones. So
And Jean Grey.
yeah. So he knows who they are, and that's kind of all that this cartoon is gonna say. So we'll just spoil it. He is their son somehow, and we will eventually see how that works out. But it was a thread that they didn't follow up on in the regular X-Men cartoon in the first run.
Wow.
It's
It's
fucking
crazy.
bizarre that they never follow up on it, but it allowed them to follow up on it in X-Men 97, like probably better than they were capable of doing, I think, in the mid 90s.
Now that you mentioned it, I remember now and I really liked how they handled that. So yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I think long term it's for the best. But it's very interesting that they never follow up on it and that these hints are all we get as to who they are. Like there may be some more hints, but there's never like confirmation. It's kind of like how in the X-Men movies with Evan Peters and Michael Fassbender. They're always explicit about the fact that Evan Peters is Michael Fassbender's son, but they never ever come out and say it. And there's never a scene of those characters reconciling. And like, fuck, who knows? Maybe they'll put that in Doomsday.
That's Magneto?
Yeah, Magneto is Quicksilver's dad.
And the Scarlet
Oh,
Witch.
Yes. Though they changed that for the MCU because they don't have Magneto. They just gave them generic parents that died in the Sokovian Civil War.
Segovia.
Yeah, they also pretty much make up Sokovia. I think Sokovia is from the regular Marvel comics, but has much more significance in the MCU than it has had in the comic books.
You guys ever watch WandaVision?
Yeah, loved that one.
Yep, for
Yeah,
sure.
that
Big
was
fan of
sick.
WandaVision. Yeah. I think WandaVision might be the creative highlight of the MCU.
I strongly agree, Jim. That was actually my favorite property. And then Agatha All Along was great too.
Yeah, big fan of that one. It was really fun. Not on the same level, but also really good. But yeah, like Avengers
Definitely
Endgame
not on the
was
same level.
yeah.
Definitely good.
Avengers Endgame is like the big like blockbuster. Here's what we've been building towards. And then WandaVision was like what they built up and had the clout to do creatively. And and I think largely because Chadwick Boseman died, they have just like completely floundered with what to do with the next step. I think that it was all going to be about Black Panther.
Was
That was
WandaVision
huge.
their first TV show? I can't remember now. I'm pretty sure it was,
It
right?
was the first one they released. They originally planned on releasing Falcon and the Winter Soldier first, but because they had to do massive reshoots on that show, they wound up not and they had to shoot the final episode, which they had to wait like a whole year, I think, to shoot because of COVID rules.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No,
Wasn't that the
oh,
first?
Agents of Shield is kind of continuity. It's not really though. All of that stuff from ABC is considered to have happened in a slightly different universe. It's not part of the
Interesting.
main
I
MCU
yeah. I
because
guess I should have said first Disney Plus show, which is
yeah,
like the stuff they
Disney,
consider explicit
yeah,
Ah,
canon.
all the Disney Plus stuff is canon. Although Agent Carter is definitely considered normal
is
canon
it
as well.
canon because it's post Marvel merger?
No, it's canon because it came from Kevin Feige.
Ah,
The Marvel shows like Agents of Shield was Joss Whedon. He was the executive producer on that, and obviously he sucks and is no longer involved with anything.
was he on
Um,
Agent Carter too?
no, I think Agent Carter might have been Kevin Feige, and that might be why it was always still considered canon. It's never been like thrown out or anything. It was on Disney Plus for years before Agents of Shield was ever added to it. Like it was on Disney Plus as soon as it launched.
Hmm.
Um, and it's a fun show. It's nothing great or anything, but Haley Atwell's eminently watchable. It's a fun little
I like
adventure show.
1940s tech stuff too, like doing cool stuff with that
Yeah, I like the
technology.
Art Deco style, and they kind of like start the second season was right before Doctor Strange came out, so they start to kind of hint about they kind of put a little bit of magic back in the era where magic hadn't really been a part of it yet. Where now, of course, magic is all over the MCU and nobody questions it. But they kind of had to build their way baby steps with it, and it's got some of those baby steps.
I feel like Agent Carter probably came a little too early. I think they could have capitalized on that show a lot better if it was just a few years later. If it was a Disney Plus show from the
It actually
get-go.
didn't fail. Like it had
Oh,
good
really?
ratings. It was fine. The only reason that it was canceled was because they came up with the idea to have Captain America go back in time and have a happy ending with her, and there was no longer room for her to have any more
Oh, yeah.
adventures.
That makes
Because he
sense.
goes back to 1947, like 2 years after he disappeared. So that's it. Like that, Agent Carter is like the entire time between Captain America 1 and Avengers Endgame for her character. Cap will come back right after that show ends. And that's the only reason why they cut, and that's why they're always trying to give Haley Atwell stuff because they kind of like canceled her successful TV show out from under her for their own storytelling purposes.
Fascinating. Thank you.
She's fucking great in Mission Impossible, though, yo.
He is for
Hell yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I need to watch the new one again. I need to give it a second appraisal because it was
Okay,
inconsistent.
we
I have
should
a
get
good
back to
feeling.
the episode.
Yeah, like we
I
should.
I
Yeah.
just
Are
just
we?
really quick though, I just remembered a really funny Wayne's World thing. And it was when they came back on SNL like maybe 5 years ago for like a cold open. And I think Mila Kunis was in the news or something. Maybe she was the host. And they mentioned Mila Kunis, and then Garth goes, "I'd make a meal of her Kunis." And I think it's the funniest thing that they've ever said on Saturday Night Live.
I've heard people say that so many times that I forgot that it was actually Dana Carvey saying it. the
It
first
was the funniest thing Dana Carvey's ever said for sure.
time. Maybe.
Besides, am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
I was gonna say, like, yeah, you can't just dismiss what's his name? Something Disguisey is literally his name in that movie,
Pistachio
I think.
Disguisey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think that one was that
Good
special.
lord.
That movie that was 60 minutes long and then had like 15 minutes of bloopers on the end just to make it technically feature length,
Oh, is that a
that
real?
filmed
Wow.
during 9/11, and they like paused and took a moment of silence when 9/11 happened. And I just, every time I think about that, I picture Dana Carvey in that turtle costume, like just like kind of like bowing his head, like respectfully thinking
Maybe
about
his
it.
head kind of retracts into the turtle shell a little bit.
Yeah, right.
I can remember like the narration to the trailers for that movie, and you could just hear in the trailer guy's voice like the moment that he knew he had to retire, that he was done with his job.
Master
No, just the
of
way he says
disguise.
pistachio disguisey. He just hates his whole life. He hates Hollywood. He hates Dana Carvey. He hates everything.
Pistachio
He just is a
disguisey. Oh,
living
fuck.
embodiment of pain.
Come on. Are you fucking kidding me?
So yeah, so Beast is having a Senate hearing. So we're returning. We're at the Back to the Future Part 2 version of the base Senate hearing where Creed got infected by his own plague. This time, Cable makes his move. He abducts Wolverine, and Jean Grey scans his mind and glimpses fragments of the mission. And this is the moment where she realizes, but doesn't say to anybody, that Cable is Scott's son and
Or baby boy.
maybe hers. I don't know exactly we don't know exactly what she gets out of this. We then jump to Cable's hideout, and he transports Wolverine to Creed's headquarters in Virginia because he has a plan, and it's a pretty good plan.
Like, oh, mutant healing factor. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking abduct this guy.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we jump in, and Bishop and the X-Men are already confronting Creed in the Apocalypse. So like Wolverine didn't matter to that situation, I guess, in the Plague Lab. Cable bursts in here. He blasts Apocalypse and exposes who he really is, like a couple minutes before the
Like,
reveal.
literally puts a hole through his stomach that doesn't have any
Yeah,
gore in it.
awesome image. Like
Yeah.
really cool. This
Everyone
was so
Evil
shocking.
T-1000 type shit.
Yeah,
everyone clearly thinks that guy's just a regular guy at this point, and then Cable just shows up and blows him wide open.
yeah. So as the battle unfolds, Cable stops Bishop from protecting Wolverine and throws a force field grenade at Apocalypse, holding him off long enough for Wolverine to be infected by the plague, because that's his plan. He wants Wolverine's healing factor to neutralize the virus, which creates the antibodies needed to stabilize both future timelines. With the
That's like a
juices.
huge battle.
Yeah, it's a big fight. It's an awesome fight. Apocalypse battles are always awesome. He's so intimidating and scary. Like he's one of the greatest villains I've ever seen on film.
His his monologues
In
are
this.
just great. I love a villain who like can talk that way, like the way he and like Doctor Doom will monologue in the comics is just like it's just so dismissive and above everyone else, and it's just it must be fun to write.
And act as, I think. Unless you're
And
Oscar
he
Isaac,
mentions
Oh,
which
totally.
you do it.
he's like, I am to you mutants as humans, as you are to humans. So it's like, what is Apocalypse? Like, what is he made of? What is he?
Well, he is an external, right? Like he's the highest tier of mutant, the ones that live forever. So he is right. Like he is a living god in a very real sense. And I think that in this we
He's
haven't had it
Kanye.
explained yet, but he has the powers of being able to possess people and take over their powers from them, which is why he has just like infinite power to change his shape and fight everybody. And just he's
He's like
just
Rogue without all the like emotive like fainting.
yeah, and the control over what he touches. I think he's more because his work's more like he can control his vampirism, whereas Rogue cannot control her. But
Maybe
yeah, their powers are the same, I think, essentially.
Gambit should try to date Apocalypse.
I have this theory that there's actually only like
Turn into rogue for me, sure.
40 or 50 kinds, like sub kinds of mutant, and the way that the powers manifest differently has more to do with like your personality and your other genes, you know?
Ian. What
The
happened to Morphs?
genes. He's off dealing with his emotions.
He's in the
He's
wind.
alive.
The cure's being secured, so Cable and Bishop together destroy the lab, forcing Apocalypse to retreat. Bishop returns to 2055, only to find that his future is still unstable, and this time we don't hear why. And it's just kind of I get the idea that like he's kind of entered into this Groundhog Day situation where every time he goes back into the future, he's gonna hear a different reason he has to go back in time again to a different point. And I
Love
laughed. I laughed good. It was so funny to me.
Well, they do just cut away from it instantly too. They're
It's
just
a
like,
really
oh, it's
funny cut. It's like,
really
oh,
good.
Bishop is just stuck in this loop forever now. He's just constantly going to be having to deal with shit.
He's
Um,
just a pawn in their game.
yeah. You know, back in the present, Beast analyzes Wolverine's blood and realizes the antibodies will save countless mutant and human lives. In 3099, Cable returns to a restored future. The temporal storm's finally gone. Tyler is alive. I think Tyler is always going to stay his real son in this, so we can just consider Tyler his son and consider this a happy ending.
Does
But
Tyler have a metal arm?
maybe it's like a genetic thing. They got metal arms. Um, Here's the thing, though. So, like, if Bishop never goes back in time, wouldn't Wolverine's healing factor have done the exact same thing as if nobody had done any time travel?
I think yes. It just would have taken like the natural course and like it would have spread in a different way. And I think
So it literally,
his,
like, Bishop does fuck everything up for everybody
yeah,
by coming back in time to do this. But it doesn't make sense that in his future that it wouldn't have worked, right? Like
Yeah, they all
that's
got
the
wiped out.
big like I could headcanon the first problem with like when did Cable travel back in time? Why is he running into a time storm? Why would a time storm suddenly be happening in 3999 that was caused by time travel in 1993 by a guy from 2055, right? But this makes even less sense. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. It's kind of it's as cool as the episode is, it's like damn, time travel is just opening up a can of worms that is really, really hard to fit and make tight. Like the problems are just there. I
Yeah.
think that like you guys, you're intelligent guys. You watched through on the first time, none of the shit occurred to you. This is the third time I've watched these episodes in the past 5 years, and I realized that damn, there's some big old plot holes in this.
Yes, but I feel like a lot of time travel shit just is explained by like, yeah, time travel happened and the Mandela effect happened and a bunch of shit happened and like,
Well, that's
like
that's the
I
thing I
feel
don't
like they
like
did a
either. Is
good
like,
job of
oh,
explaining it.
all of this has already happened, kind of defeats the narrative thrust of storytelling, which is that some growth or change must occur for there to be a satisfying, you know.
Well, that growth and change does occur. It just happens in the moment, and by the end of it, nothing happened. But it doesn't mean that nothing happened in those moments, you know?
Okay,
whoa.
I'm just gonna pull up the end of Burn After Reading here.
And I'm gonna pull up the end of Men Who Stare at Goats. Was that the name of that movie?
The one where they
I'm
all
gonna
the
pull up the scene with the dildo bike.
Bird after
What are you
reading.
guys doing? I'm just watching that scene.
Just completely unrelated. You're just watching that scene.
I'm just watching that scene. I watch it every
You
night.
were just watching it anyway. Yeah, it's just your
Francis
screen favor.
McDormand's reaction. Dot GIF.
It's entertaining. It's good, but it doesn't make any goddamn sense. It doesn't. The story doesn't really have any meaning. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it like seven apocalyptic children out of 10. I don't know. That was a bad one. I'm usually better than that.
See, I liked it because full disclosure, I think I didn't pay full attention to it because I watched it on my lunch break and then on my bus ride home. But yeah, I feel that it did a good job of like showing similar scenes um with like a slightly different outcome and yet the same outcome, like Apocalypse at the end being like, "Ah, my virus, you motherfuckers." But like, what I liked about it was the animation was better than usual. I liked how they were using like 3D and 2D animation together. The color palette was really good. Like, I don't know, I'm just like a fucking visual person. Like, I just sometimes the story doesn't even matter and it just is good enough, but it was like it was just fun to watch.
Future stuff especially looks cool. I'm down for
Yeah, like
that.
it just looked fucking cool and I like those Terminator robots and Apocalypse is always cool and everyone had a good role and I liked that Cyclops was like you said earlier, Jim, just kind of like sidelined a little bit and like Storm and Jean had to step up. And fascinating that Cable is Storm as Cyclops and Storm's Cyclops and Jean's son.
Wait, did you never know that?
No, I had no idea.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow.
I'm sorry to have given it away here.
No, I appreciate any
Did
new
you know by the context
information.
clues in the episode that that was what was going on?
Again, I was watching on my lunch, so maybe I just missed the
Yeah,
like
yeah.
flashbacks, but I got the impression that she just saw that he was important to the future, but I didn't get the impression that he was her son.
Yeah, shit. Well, maybe we can bust out that Men in Black thing and just wipe this from your memory.
Nice. Could you actually just do that like for the whole last 20 years? A rough go.
Oh man. Um, yeah, I think I like it just as much as I like the last episode. I think it's also an 8 dildo bikes out of 10. I thought this was like really ambitious for a two-parter to be like, we're gonna tell the same story twice from different, and we're gonna change it like slightly the second time. And I just thought that was really cool to do on a kids show back in the 90s. So yeah, I
Yeah,
say
that's
it's still like
respecting the audience. It really is.
Yeah.
100%.
And I love how they like allude to things that they don't finish explaining too. Because it's like you can go into the comics and fucking figure that out if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when I figured out that Cable is their son. It probably was when I started reading the actual comic books years later. So, because like I had never picked up on either of the two connections that they make in this episode. They didn't occur to me when I was younger at all. I didn't know. It
Yeah.
was probably
Yeah,
the closest.
I didn't understand why he knew about Cyclops and Jean already.
Yeah,
I was like, all right, I
yeah.
know.
Because like once it's revealed in the comic books, it's just like there's like an editorial bubbles that kind of like catch you up on everything that's kind of important at the beginning of every comic book. It'll be like Nathan Dayspring Summers, aka Cable, aka Ascani's son, yada yada yada, son of Cyclops, and boom 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 boom, and it'll give you a little blurb on his history every single issue he appears in to
Mhm.
catch you up on that so you get it because it is a bit of it's a bit of a mouthful. It's a bit of a crazy story. It's something that we've never seen. I think that like when they eventually do Cable's story on film the proper way, it might be like it might be best to make him the star of the show because
Make Cable the star?
yeah, like I think that like you could make a Cable movie as X-Men 4 or 5 and tell his life story and show him getting there or something. I like he could be a really really big important part of the movies because it is pretty interesting his overall life story. I'm dancing around it. I'm not trying to say things, but like Cable's a very unique character. There's no
Has
one else.
Cable been in any of the movies yet?
Yes. Josh Brolin played him in Deadpool 2, but
Oh
they didn't have
yeah.
any of this. No reference whatsoever to Cyclops and Phoenix.
Well, don't
Sorry.
they say a few things? No,
No,
I
I don't
haven't
think there's
watched it in a
anything.
long time, but I feel like maybe they would have like did like a little wink, wink, like
It feels like
called
they're
them.
working hard to avoid any references like that. Because like it's all about his family stuff, but like his family that they even reference is family that have never existed before. And like he's from the 2050s in In Deadpool.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
he's kind of more like Bishop than Cable
Yes.
in
Right.
Deadpool 2. And maybe
Right.
that's why people it didn't resonate with people because it wasn't like the full like I really feel that him being Cyclops' son is like more than half of who Cable is. He's so much more interesting as Cyclops' son to me personally.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, I just want to shout out Jim. Jim is not only the expert on most of this X-Men knowledge, but is also our producer and editor. So obviously Mike has a huge role as well. But today I just wanted to shout out Jim. Thank you, Jim,
Hell
for
yeah.
all the work that you're doing. You're putting in 3 to 4 hours per episode of your own time to edit this stuff. So I just want to say thanks.
Thanks, buddy.
Hell yeah.
Love
This
you
would
guys.
not happen without the efforts that Jim puts into it for sure. So yeah,
100%.
huge respect.
These
Place to
these
end.
ones are fun. I'm really stoked for the next one.
And these sound goofy and yeah, pretty fun.
Mojo
They're
Vision would be
they're
sick
good.
as hell.
Mojo
Mojo
Vision is
alone is
like
so intriguing.
I'm
Yeah.
so fucking stoked on. Do you guys remember the Mojo Vision episode?
Nope.
I remember the X-Men 97 Mojo episode. I don't know. I don't think I saw this one when I was a kid.
Oh, really? Okay, the X-Men 97 Mojo one's okay. The really, but like, yeah. Mojo to me is like, damn, maybe probably it's the best idea other than Mr. Sinister for a film that we have not seen.
Mr. Sinister.
Doesn't even need to be an X-Men movie. I think like the MCU, you could just put a Mojo movie in the MCU now.
But
Hell,
probably Marvel owns it, so then Disney owns it, right? It's not a Sony
yeah.
product.
Like
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah,
would not be surprised if we see a Mojo centered movie by 2030. And you'll understand why when we watch these episodes and we'll talk about it on
maybe
Wednesday or Thursday.
I
Mojo
am
could be
excited.
like a Young Avengers villain or something. Like it feels like it's a team up something, but
Yeah, Mojo could be a villain for anybody. The only reason that Mojo is an X-Men villain is because they're from the X-Men run of the 80s. But Mojo is for everyone. Mojo is for the children.
Mojo is for the children.
Jojo.
Mojo Jojo. I was thinking
Different
that
Okay.
show.
too.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Good night,
Dude,
boys. Bye.